What's a company you refuse to support, and why? Progressive. A few years back, an idiot crashed into my parked car with a lawnmower while I was at work. The owner of the lawn mowing company decided to play games and not pay for the damage. My Progressive agent ghosted me, and his supervisor never returned my calls. I eventually got the money, but Progressive didn't do a damn thing. My husband and I were affected by Hurricane Ida, resulting in both of our cars being totaled. We called immediately, but because of the extensive damage in our area, was directed to use the app to open a claim, and someone would reach out within 48 hours. After 72 hours, we called, to only reach a mailbox. My husband's car wasn't even towed away until 2 months after the flood. His car was completely covered in mold at this point. And once his car was towed, they had the audacity to send us a letter in the mail saying, if we didn't reach out to them within 10 days, they would close the claim. I only got my payout 2 weeks ago. He still has yet to receive the money for his vehicle. Also, they tried dicking us over with the rental. We were allotted 30 days, or $1,200. We returned it within the time, and yet, they were trying to not cover the costs. Progressive has been the biggest headache of my life. Wells Fargo. They have scammed their customers so many times, including opening fraudulent accounts, and paid millions of dollars in fines, and just keep doing it anyway. Before the whole scandal dropped about opening accounts, I interviewed for a teller job at Wells Fargo. During the interview, I was told, in order to get a jump start on the yearly goals, all tellers were expected to get all of your family and friends to make new Wells Fargo accounts each January. I forget the precise number, but it was more than 20 new accounts in 1 month, and you couldn't count the accounts you actually got while working from clients looking for services. When I said that none of my family lived in state, they got really hostile, talking about how I'd have to commit to having them make accounts at a bank 500 miles away if I wanted to be considered for the job. I walked out of that interview confidently knowing I would never bank with Wells Fargo if their poor tellers were under that much pressure to upsell me on everything. I was so far from shocked when I found out what was happening, because just the idea of being put under that much pressure made me walk away from the interview. I could definitely see that is something people that actually accepted the job would sink to get those managers off their backs. State Farm. Before we met, my wife was in a car accident that permanently damaged her neck, forcing her to drop out of college and abandon her dream to play violin professionally, and requiring her to get an injection in her neck twice a year for the rest of her life. She's been in a 4-year legal battle with State Farm, as she's entitled over $100,000, since she was no way at fault for it. But they will not budge, and keep demanding ridiculous things from her. Next month, she's actually scheduled to fly back to the state where the accident happened, so she can undergo a 10-hour psychological analysis. When she asked her attorney why they're asking for that, he pretty much said, because they can. State Farm also recently requested she shoot a video of her attempting to play the violin, and then talking to me about how it make her feel that she can't play it painlessly anymore. In a recent deposition, they actually asked her if she had intentions to get medical treatment, were they to award her with the money back when it happened. They even at one point asked for a printout of everything she ever posted, commented on, or messaged on Facebook, so they have proof her life was indeed affected by the accident. Fortunately, her lawyer talked them out of that one. The list of demands from State Farm gets more and more insane. They've become such a pain in the ass, but we've made the decision to fight it out as long as we can, because giving up is what they want us to do, and we want to prove to insurance companies that they can't screw over their clients like this. So yeah, screw State Farm, and honestly, most insurance companies. Edit. Since this post got more attention than anticipated, I got some more details from the wife. To clarify, she has had a lawyer since the day after the accident, separate from State Farm, and he isn't getting paid a dime until the settlement is met. State Farm was her insurance, the other guy's insurance paid out $25,000, which barely covered her initial doctor's bills. She filed an underinsured motorist claim, which is what she's currently in the lawsuit over. NEMLM. Just, no. My mother-in-law is a saint, but she's really gullible. She had a friend convince her into buying into doTERRA, and convinced her she would make a lot of money. Mother-in-law now has boxes upon boxes of doTERRA shit cluttering up her house. Every year I get essential oils as stocking stuffers. LOL, I don't mind it, I think they smell nice. It just pisses me off that she was roped into this pyramid scheme and lost a lot of money. She's such a sweet, kind woman, and someone took advantage of that. doTERRA is shit. I know a lot of people are loyal followers, but their products are expensive for absolutely no reason. Their certified pure therapeutic grade, or CPTG process, is a joke, and is a term doTERRA specifically coined in order to make their oils seem superior in quality and safe to ingest. For the love of all things, please do not ingest essential oils. Not only are you wrecking your stomach lining, but there are many terpenes found in plants that speed up or slow down liver enzymes. This is especially important if you are on prescription medication. 1 drop of EO is equivalent in strength to about 500 cups of herbal tea, to put it into perspective. Starbucks. It's just too easy to support a local coffee shop if I'm in a situation where I can't make my own coffee at home. I live in Vienna, and I will never understand how someone can go to a Starbucks in Vienna. It's the city of coffee houses. It's cheaper, better tasting, and most importantly, so much more beautiful in almost all of them than inside a Starbucks. Facebook. A cesspool of misinformation, run by a devious, undermining, lying piece of shit that profits from humanity's insecurities. I was addicted to Facebook for the longest time, and it wasn't until I finally deleted it, not suspended, full deletion, that I realized what a profound effect it was having on my mental health. I'm not even exaggerating. I am so much happier without it. The friends I talk to all the time still talk to me through other mediums, and the ones that don't, just don't. And that's fine. I'm not even judging them for it. I'm in a much better place. My job required me to be on social media every single day. Constantly be interacting with clients' posts, constantly be creating content with the intent of trying to get clients to share the content. I decided, for many reasons, to quit my job and deleted my Facebook about a week before I put in my notice, and my day-to-day feels so much less toxic and chaotic. I really do believe social media is a cancer on society. I know that Reddit is also social media, but the anonymity makes it much less toxic and consuming for me. Dolls kill. Cheap quality, and horrible owner. I am so glad you said that. I was just looking at some clothing from them. They are expensive, and apparently, the quality sucks. Thanks for saving me some money. Any website recommendations for similar products? Try Sourpuss, might be up your alley. Walmart. I used to work there, and refuse to go there ever again. I put in my 2 weeks, July 2020, and I haven't gone there since. I refuse to step foot in any Walmart ever. Yep. After I lost my job, I got a job doing stock at Walmart, until I could find something in my field. The hiring manager told me he could give me about 30 hours a week, and he knew I needed to work overnights, or weekend shifts, because of my wife's work schedule, so I could watch our young son. After a week of this, they scheduled me for 12 hours the next week. 3 noon to 4 p.m. shifts. I go to my manager, and explain the 2 issues. Not enough hours, and hours I cannot work. He shrugged his shoulders. Like a fool, I went along with it. I was desperate for any money coming in, as my wife was just returning to the workforce after 6 months, and I lost my job right before she went back. We finagled it, so my father-in-law could watch our son that week. The next schedule comes out, and I have 16 hours, and all morning shifts. These I can't work at all, because my Phil's work schedule wouldn't allow him to help, and he was the only local relative we had who could watch our son. We couldn't afford, and didn't really trust, to be honest, outside help. I go to my manager again and he starts to chew me out for complaining about the schedule. I lost it on him. Mother trucker, you're the one who promised me 30 hours and overnights when I started 2 weeks ago. But I guess your word is like this store, a bunch of effing bullshit. I am very easygoing. I do not get upset like that with people. Especially not in a semi-public place where others can hear it. But the combo of no sleep, because of a new baby at home, stress over losing the lion's share of our income unexpectedly, and this a whole lying to me, then chewing me out for asking how we could fix it was too much. He just stood there stunned, and I walked out of the store never to return. F Walmart and their scummy tactics, anti-union bullshit, and the lies they tell to poor, desperate people to keep them working there. Rockstar, because I'm holding a petty grudge against one of their employees. F you Flapjack. Damn, you can't just drop this, and not give us a backstory. Sure, honestly it's been so long ago at this point, I'm a bit fuzzy on the details. So, Flapjack is the username of a guy that was brought into our gaming clan/Discord by a mutual friend/member. He was some kind of team lead in development at Rockstar, working on RDR2 at the time, and the guy that brought him in was an acquaintance that was hoping Flap could get him a job at Rockstar at some point. I didn't like Flap from the start. He was an arrogant know-it-all who threw his job status right in your face and demanded you worship him about it. Most of the guys in the clan kinda did, but I couldn't stand the guy. So, one day in Discord, Flap made a claim that Romania is over 2,000 miles from Russia. Apparently, there are Romanian characters in one of the GTA games or something, and he was pissed that everyone was mistaking those characters as Russian. Well, of course I immediately challenged this arrogant prick on it. Romania 2,000 miles from Russia? Get the F real. The fallout was swift. He immediately shit back at me, because the geographical center of Russia is 2,000 miles from the geographical center of Romania. What kind of peasant must I be to measure the distance between two nations by the distance between their closest borders? Everyone knows you determine the distance by geographical center. I decided I'd had enough of the guy, so I carried on the argument until he got too pissed to continue and he left the clan, but not before he had some choice words for me. A few of the clan members followed him out, but maintained a friendship with me. When they wouldn't denounce me, Flap had the same kind of meltdown toward them, banned them from his Discord. A few months later, I reached out to Flap, just to try to clear the air a bit. I apologized to him and said, I wished things had gone differently. He said he appreciated the gesture, but I can still get effed. I still sleep fine at night, knowing Romania isn't anywhere near 2,000 miles from Russia. Blizzard. From covered-up sexual misconduct, to silencing Hong Kong protesters, and then denying it all, and trying to say, sorry for nothing. Not to mention, rather subpar quality of recent games. Stopped supporting them after the Hong Kong protests, and haven't looked back since. Everything that is coming out is disgusting, and I wish that games media would actually keep reporting and digging into companies' shit. Not just ABK. John Deere. They're working with Apple and others to lobby against right to repair. They also have unnecessary software traps to prevent the user from repairing anything themselves. They recruit tons of people from my school to develop this garbage, since we're near their HQ. Every person says they're absolutely terrible to work for, which doesn't surprise me one bit. They fought a recent union negotiation tooth and nail. I saw employees' average rate/salary, benefits, etc. Absolutely pitiful. Employees came out on top, though. I've had a John Deere 4500 tractor for 22 years of constant use. It kicks ass, and is one of the best pieces of equipment I have owned. Glad the employees prevailed on that strike. Disney. They ruined copyright law to protect Mickey. Other more recent reasons to hate them, but that's the reason I hate them. Remember when they sued, or maybe they didn't allow, and threatened to sue, I forgot, a dead kid's family for having a Spider-Man-themed headstone and coffin. I read, they sued a daycare for having Disney characters painted on their walls. The Simpsons did a parody of that, with Krusty the Clown having his image sandblasted off Maggie's daycare, which made her cry. Homer, Krusty, you made my daughter cry. Krusty, hey, my intellectual property rights were being infringed. Do you know how that feels? Nestlé. They are the very model of corporate evil, raiding water tables in drought-stricken areas, using child slavery to get their chocolate, and much more. It's interesting how companies like Nestlé behave like heroin addicts. You'd think that since many people run the company, that there'd at least be some backlash among the higher-ups whenever they do these sorts of things. But no, these kinds of companies are run by gullible, hedonistic idiots that subject into groupthink and make corporations unethical. Jaded London, Asus, Primark, Pretty Little Thing, and any other fast fashion brands that I can't remember off the top of my head. Shine? Worked with a bunch of teens over the summer who were buying loads of clothes, saying how cheap and good they were. I'm talking orders of $200 plus. Try going to Goodwill, or Play 2's Closet, now that the TikTok rave is kinda over. All shine. Everything. NFL. Stadium scams. They threaten to move the team, unless the city gives them a new stadium, at basically the taxpayers' expense. Atlanta took money from their public schools, to fund a stadium, that they get 0% back on. Taxes are never what is promised. A city has never made money on a stadium. The tax revenue has never been enough to cover the investment. Use of eminent domain to build these stadiums. Concussion cover-up. Use of slave labor, to the point that CBP, American Customs, has rejected shipments of official NFL merchandise, because it is illegal to import anything made by slave labor into the U.S. Many of the BLM shirts that the NFL, and to be fair, the NBA, were wearing, were traced back to Haiti, where black children were making these shirts for pennies an hour. Total disregard for CTE. As soon as it became apparent that safer helmets weren't going to work, they tried to hide it, then they got lucky with the protests. Most employees of the stadiums employ people at poverty wages in major cities. Most are the minimum wage. Cheerleaders getting paid minimum wage or less. The NFL does not give a F about domestic violence. There is more of a penalty for players who dance in the end zone than who beat women. Alumni of the NFL get arrested at rates much higher than other sports teams' alumni. TLDR, the NFL is evil. Amazon, because they treat their employees like crap. I am employee. Crap would be a step up in life. Sadly, businesses in my area treated employees so poorly. Amazon was like a life raft for them. Some people that work there have never had it better. I've worked in restaurant kitchens for most of my adult life. One of the joints that I was working at, we hired this guy who had been cooking for 25 plus years. When Amazon opened a warehouse in my area, he quit cooking entirely and went to work in the warehouse, and said it was the best decision he had ever made. Better working conditions, better hourly pay, and saner hours. Bass Pro Shops and other big box fishing stores rather support small, local stores. The owners and staff are usually knowledgeable about the area. Short story. Angling Outfitters in Woodstock on Highway 2. Jocelyn, the owner, took me outside in the parking lot and taught me how to properly cast a float rod and center pin reel. 20 minutes of his time. Bass Pro ain't doing that. Support local. U2s. Stealing designs from small Twitter artists without compensation or even credit is a low blow. Plus, their figures are downright ugly and cheap looking, and I'm tired of pretending they're not. I wish content creators would stop working with them. They're shady AF. That is true, but imagine being a young creator in their 20s, being hit up by a company saying, "Hey, we will make a toy for you, and you will get some of the profits." I have always wanted a toy made after me, so, although it is stupid, I would accept this deal immediately, knowing that other creators have accepted it too. You know what I mean? Bank of America. Way too fee happy. When I was in college, 2008 to 2012, I had an account with them. It was supposed to be a student account that would stop unnecessary fees and stuff. Accidentally overdrafted my account and got hit with a $35 fee. Couldn't pay the fee, so it charged me again. All in all, I ended up in the red $110 in various overdraft fees. As soon as I could close the account, I did. F Bank of America. Ticketmaster, too many fees. Just don't go to live concerts anymore. Ticketmaster. Ticket price, $40. Service fee, $20. Paperless fee, $5. Fee, $3.15. Because we can fee, $2. You wanna go fee, $12. Print from home fee, $6.50. No physical copy fee, $16. No refund policy agreement fee, $8. Total, $112.65. F you very much. Sucker. DoorDash. They brought 2 sides and a drink, and forgot the entrees. I contacted them, and all I could get was DoorDash credit. F your meal. F your money back, for something you didn't receive. Well, F you DoorDash. As someone who works with food, I can tell you, that DoorDash is absolute garbage on our end of things, too. If you don't mind a bit of reading, I posted my experience a few weeks ago, on r/Kitchen Confidential. F DoorDash based on the fact, that they always charge me 1 cent more, than I authorize. I complained 3 times about a bug in it, sent my screenshots, etc. The 4th time, I claimed a fraudulent charge on it, and the prior 3 orders. I have not spent money with them since, and instead learned how to cook Goop, because I'm not a sucker. What, you're not into steam cleaning, you're Chuck? Seriously though, why name the company Goop? Bad enough, it's all BS, but it's not even something classy sounding. Gwyneth Paltrow is on my boycott movies list, with the only exception being minor roles, where I don't have to see her much. I had the same question a couple weeks ago, spent some time reading through the website. Yikes, by the way, NTLDR, someone told her once, that all successful companies, have a double O, in them. So, double O, plus GP, equals Goop. Hobby Lobby. The owners bought looted artifacts, from Middle Eastern terrorists. They also refused to include birth control, in their offered healthcare packages, for employees, due to their religious beliefs. Haven't stepped foot in a Hobby Lobby, in years. Burrell vs. Hobby Lobby, 2014. The big players, in the craft supplies industry, RMS. Hobby Lobby has these issues, but pays really good wages, $17 per hour full-time starting, provides decent, except for BC, insurance, company matched 401k, sick time, vacation, etc. Michaels starts sales associates, at minimum wage. Joanne pays its employees, an average of $10.70, over $1,000 per month less, than starting wages at Hobby Lobby. None of them give patenting leave from what I can tell. Find a local craft store to support, the chain choices, are lose-lose. Nike. Just say, no. I don't buy Nike. Has zero to do with the quarterback. It kills me, that their shoes are made in sweatshops, in Asian countries. They don't manufacture anything in the USA. They've sold our youth on this idea, that they can't be happy without a pair of their shoes. Even their basketball camps, are suspect. I remember, when kids were getting jumped at their bus stops, and their shoes stolen off their feet. This was a recurring news story for a while. Can't even give mom or dad a job, pay pennies on the dollar, for every shoe sold. Nope. Make fun of my New Balance all you want, but supporting families, in Maine and Massachusetts, means much more to me, than a Swish, and $1 for Taiwan. Lenovo, from this point on. Absolutely abysmal customer service, and desktop PCs. It died after 7 months, a tech came out to repair it, 3 times, and failed. The final repair attempt, was a new CPU, that's important for later. Lenovo wanted me, to send the PC back to their depot, and told me, it may be 2 to 4 months, before I get it back. I needed a PC so that wouldn't work, and asked for a refund since the PC was still under warranty. Lenovo closed out my case, as resolved, and ignored me. I tried again and the same thing happened. Even though it was under warranty, they closed out my case. I tried a 3rd time, and got transferred between every department imaginable, for 2 hours, before someone finally said, "This treatment is ridiculous," and agreed to help me. I never heard anything else. Now, I'm trained as an IT field tech, and thought, maybe I could revive the thing. Turns out, the tech, bent 2 pins on the CPU, and killed it in the motherboard. Then I noticed Lenovo had sent a dual-core Athlon 200, to replace my Ryzen 3200G. I called again and was told, that there was nothing they could do since it was out of warranty. I mentioned the incorrect part, and that all of this happened under warranty, and it was never resolved. They still didn't help. The only way I got any help was, to file a complaint through the Better Business Bureau. It got sent to a Lenovo case manager, who was able to verify everything in my complaint, using their call logs, and even sees where they sent the wrong part. She said, I should have received a full refund, the very first time I asked. I'm finally getting my money back, after a year of fighting, with this damn company. Before you purchase a Lenovo product, read their BBB page, to see what you're getting into. This was the second nightmare repair ordeal I've had with Lenovo, and that's enough for me. Autism speaks. They believe autism is a disease that must be cured, and fund various unethical methods of attempting to do so, including, but not limited, to shock therapy, isolation punishment, and conversion camps. Until around 2017, they didn't have a single autistic person on their board, and in their official documentary, about living with autism-afflicted children, one of the founders talked about how she once considered driving herself and her autistic daughter off a cliff to end the suffering, and only didn't go through with it because she thought about how her normal daughter at home would feel without mommy, while her autistic daughter sat next to her. Something like 70% of donations go to PR, so that people don't find out how effing awful they are. There's probably a dozen other reasons, but those are some of the most disgusting ones that tend to catch people's attention. As a high-functioning autistic, with a little brother and cousin higher on the spectrum, I make it my mission to bring this shit to light whenever I can. Autism Speaks. Edit, as you know you're crazy, reminded me, they're also the progenitor for the current anti-vax movement. As an autistic, Autism Speaks. F them sideways with a cactus. Having autism isn't easy, but neither is life. I don't need to be cured, nor do I want this non-existent cure. What I want and need is the same thing every single person in this world wants and needs: connect and support. The connection and support I need may sometimes look different than what a neurotypical person needs.